Welcome to part two. We've got Terry on today. We're going to do 3 parts today, 40 minutes. That's 2 hours with Terry. Plenty of material. He should be here any second. Terry just had a quick call to make. Does everybody agree with what Terry said about David Adelaide? Well, we're going to see, aren't we? Do we all agree with what he said about Hamza Shearers? No, I think he's pony. Absolute pony. I do. He should have a loss on his record against Bradley Skeet. And if that would have been a loss on his record, nobody would be interested in him. Too many people in the boxing industry, work in the industry and paying fans, they look at that note like these fighters are kings, don't they? Well, if that were true, Sven Otker's got 22 title defences at super middleweight. He finished his career undefeated. He actually won 20-odd world title fights and finished his career undefeated. He's not even in Hall of Fame. How's about that one? So them zeros, they mean shit. It's who you fight. That's how I look at it. So it is what it is, isn't it? So it is what it is. Terry will be back at 15:15. So I thought we'd get a bit of a nudge on him. Do we agree with what Terry said about Yard? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Terry is a bit biased towards them fighters down there, in Dan Aziz, Yard, all them sort of people and promoters down there. Probably because he's a Southern fairy like rest of them, isn't he? I don't know, but it is what it is. But I wonder what Terry thinks about some of these other questions I've got for him here. This should be interesting next couple of minutes when he does click on. But we need to talk about this Callum Smith nonsense, don't we? With Eddie Hills promising Callum Smith a big, massive fight. Who are they going to put him in with? Who are they going to put Callum Smith in with? Oh, hey, Bivol. Would he fight Bivol? Or Better Beeve? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? And he already been in with Better Beeve. So we'll see, won't we? But what about Callum Smith moving up to fight J.O. Patia? Eddie's promising him a big fight. J.O. Patia at cruiserweight. I mean, didn't Eddie say that Callum Smith can go all the way to heavyweight from super middle, light heavy, cruiser, and heavyweight? That's what Eddie said in day. Well, he's gone super middle, light heavy, failed at light heavy. Eddie didn't deliver for him at super middle. It was Calla. Failed at light heavy. So Eddie's promising him a big one. So surely he's going to move up to cruiser and fight J.O. Patia, isn't he? Because there's no for him at light heavy. He's already been done, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But okie doke. So Terry, 2 minutes. Terry, that'll be 18 minutes past. So I don't know, but Eddie Hills making promises to Callum Smith don't mean shit, does it really? When he couldn't even get him a world title. It was Joe Gallagher who got him world title and Calla, not Eddie Hills, not the Iceman. So now all of a sudden Eddie's going back saying he's going to get Callum Smith a big fight. He ain't get a hoot about Callum Smith for a long time, really. The giant mute. Well, that's what I call Callum Smith, because you don't really get anything from him, do you? He's not really engaging, is he? Nobody's saying he can't fight and he can't whack. But you wouldn't think you were sat in an airplane with him, would you, coming back from Miami? Do you know what I mean? 10 hours we sat next to him. It'd be an absolute nightmare, in my opinion. But a bit like the nightmare that Ben Shalom's having now about Bricktop coming and getting him in his sleep. So, okie dokie. Here's Terry. Women love him, men want to be him. How you doing, Terry?
Can you hear me, Russ?
I can hear you clearly, kid. Are you all right?
Yeah, sorry, mate. My phone just did a hard reset. That's why I'm late.
Not a problem, kid. Eddie's promising Callum Smith a big fight, but he didn't even deliver him a world title back in day with Joe G and Calla, wasn't it? What do you think to that?
Big fight against who?
Well, I think J.O. Patia, because didn't Eddie say a few years ago he could go from super middle light heavy, cruiser, up to heavyweight? We've got Bridger, he could be a 5-weight world champion here. Well, we've got one weight, so let's wait for the second weight. Only fight I can see him. They're not going to put him in with Better Beef, are they? It'd have to be Bivol or OPT, wouldn't it, moving up?
When's the last time Callum Smith even boxed, Russ?
I know, yeah. Who's really interested in Callum Smith, right? He's got millions in bank. Who's interested in him?
No one. I'm definitely not, and I haven't been for a long time. It doesn't make sense. Like, when you're that inactive, like you can't jump in with a young, hungry lion like Oppenheimer, man. That's you're just gonna, as you would say, he's gonna get put on button moon.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see, aren't we? We're going to see, but where does Callum Smith go now? Then who does he fight? Because he's lost against Better Beef, hasn't he? What it Better Beef? What won it?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Right, he's lost against. See, it's that long ago since he fought. He's not really done it, has he? Been in wilderness, so he lost against the big dog in the division. So what could he come back now? Because are they going to wait for Better Beef to get old? You know what I mean?
Probably.
Well, we're gonna see, aren't we? We're gonna see, but that's how I look at it. So it is what it is. You've got to look at it like this, right? We have weight divisions for a reason, but Callum Smith's 6'3.5", isn't he? So if he's making 12 stone, right, at 6'3.5", he's done well, hasn't he? He's now making 12.5, but that'll be killing him. That will kill him at that height, won't it? Surely.
And plus, he's getting older as well, mate.
Plus,
So
he'll be able to carry it. Plus, he'll be able to carry it up to cruiser, won't he? Now, if Eddie's saying he can be a super middle light heavy cruiser, we've got Bridger added now since he made that original comment. And Eddie said he could go all the way up to heavyweight. Well, let's see it. Because he didn't deliver at super middle. It was Callum and Joe Gallagher who were going that belt. He's failed at light heavy. He can't beat Better Beef because he got iced by him. So he's got to go up to fight at cruiser. And only fight at cruiser I see is OPT. I don't know. Do you see a different one?
Maybe that guy with the WBC belt, kind of Mikalainen at cruiserweight might be an option, but that's the only option I can see. Or do you put Callum Smith in with Chris Billam-Smith in the Battle of the Smiths?
Callum Smith against Liam Smith.
But no, Chris Billam-Smith.
Oh, Chris Billam-Smith, Battle of the Smiths.
Yeah.
I don't know. Chris Billam-Smith's a Sky fighter, isn't he? So that's that's not going to happen, is it, against Callum? Do you think?
It could if Turkey wants it to happen.
If Turkey says it's happening, if Turkey says Eddie jump through that hoop, he'd go, "How I Turk?" Wouldn't he?
No,
if Turkey says Eddie, get down there and get grafting, Eddie would get down and do the graft, wouldn't he? He'd go down on the moment, Eddie, for a pound note, because that's what these people do, in it.
But look, he had Shakur Stevenson, right? And no Tank fight. But I think that's probably Shakur Stevenson's team saying we don't want to fight Tank. But you spend all that money on Shakur and you can't even get him to fight Tank. Can you even get him to fight Haney? I don't know. So I look at that and I just go, whatever. Like, how do you ruin the position he was in? Like, if he had done more for his fighters, I think he'd be a better promoter now. But it was all about him for such a long time that now that it's all gone wrong and he needs fighters to step up for him, they're all like, no, it's all about you, Eddie. Come on, get yourself out of this.
Well, I'm just looking at this statement from Hills. Eddie Hills! Hills! You know, the legendary Hall of Famer in NBA. We're looking at Eddie Hills, this Iceman, steaming into wicket like Bob Willis, fast bowler, opening bat, specialist fielder. I don't know what to say, mate, but he's saying he can deliver for Callum Smith, and I'm saying fucking no. There you go.
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. Nobody. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is, isn't it? Darren Till against Tommy Fury. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Yeah, go on, kid. You were saying. So
I'm not asked, mate. I'm not asked. I'm not asked about John Fury, man. I'm not asked.
Well, John
That's all I
Fury
remember from that
poo-pooed
press
it, didn't he, from
conference.
Till? He poo-pooed it, didn't he? You
Yeah,
think?
but wouldn't you?
Hey?
But wouldn't you, mate?
Of course you would, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want some big MMA guy getting a grip here, would you? You'd have to take him down, wouldn't you?
Mate, quick question. Is Callum Smith fighting on this Sonny Edwards card?
Yeah.
Who?
TBA, I think.
Oh my god. This is when you know Hearn's desperate. You know when he's had to reheat the leftovers.
Yeah.
Because you know there's a point when he never thought he'd have to work with Callum again. And now he's like, AJ's been wiped out. Stable's looking kind of weak. Connor's not going to be able to do anything next year. What's Callum's number again? No, he's had to go back groveling, and I hope Paul Smith made him suffer for it as well.
8-rounder against TBA in Resorts World Arena, Birmingham. An 8-rounder. Oh my God. An 8-rounder for Callum Smith, former Ring Magazine, WB whatever champion, A champion. He's in an 8-rounder against TBA on a Sonny Edwards undercard. Oh my God. Hey, how the mighty have fallen.
Ah, it's embarrassing.
Of course it is. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing, mate, for him. Do you know what I mean? Because if he'd have been with Joe G, that wouldn't have been happening, would it? 8-rounder. What will they be getting for that? 50, if he's lucky. It'd be a 50 bagger jack for him, won't it? That it won't be more than that. I don't think.
No, it won't even be that. It'll just be a little bit of Christmas.
Yeah, that's it. It'll just be a 2-round blowout. And what will Eddie say? He'll blow the cobwebs off. All that kind of nonsense. Do you know what I mean?
But he has to do this, folks. I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'm of the opinion that Joshua's going to retire.
Yeah. Well, that's all Eddie's talking about at the moment, isn't it? Retirement for Joshua.
So I had a quick conversation just with a mutual friend of ours. And Joshua, before the Dubois fight, Joshua was like, I'll fight the winner of Fury Usyk, Wilder, and I'm done, right? The way he got laced up by Daniel Dubois, like tucked in, put to bed, like just put a nail in that coffin, right? He's now like, can I even beat Wilder? You know,
Yeah.
I think, because remember, like all of Joshua's defeats before were either on points or he was out on his feet, right?
Yeah.
With Dubois, there wasn't you can't call it a punch from the gods. You can't call it anything because Dubois took his 2 hardest shots and then said, right, have one of mine. And he couldn't take it. And I think that's the first time he realized he's not what he used to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joshua goes, what's the point?
Yeah.
And if he does that, what does that leave Hearn with? Conor Benn. So he has to resurrect Callum Smith. And I think you'll see him resurrect a few more people where we were like, I thought he'd forgotten about these guys. And you're going to see that because Hearn has to do something.
Well, he's got to do something, hasn't he? Got to do something, mate. Hasn't he? Surely to God. Got to do something. Right. Mike Tyson against Jake Paul. How are we in a position where they're doing them kind of numbers and they've got people who are the B-side to this YouTube kid, and now we've got Oliver McCall calling him Jake Paul out, and just about everybody who's got an heartbeat who's over 60 and has been an heavyweight wants a slice of the cake. Do you think that it's the horse has bolted?
Okay, so let's be very clear. The biggest names in boxing today are Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. right? By far. By far. Who could you put on TV that's got more recognition than Mike Tyson or Floyd Mayweather?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's just Tyson or Mayweather. You might sneak Tyson Fury in there and people go, I know who he is, but that's because he's just a giant. But no one knows who these boxers are anymore because the promoters took all the limelight. And the promoters made it all about them. And so you can't make big fights because none of these boxers cross over. Mike Tyson crosses over. So put yourself in Netflix's shoes, Russ. You got to get into a sport and you got to move quickly, right? So you can't do the Premier League because they normally sell their rights years in advance, as do other sports. You're left with boxing as the only sport where you can pull something together last minute. And so Netflix have gone, we need the most famous boxer. They've gone down BoxRec and they've gone, we don't know any of these people. And they probably rang Floyd and Floyd is like, I'm good. And then Mike's gone, yeah, I'll do it for 20 mil. And so Mike's trained. And Jake Paul's gone, yeah. And I'm sure they rehearsed it. Do not be surprised if they didn't spend time in the ring together. Just so they could both work out how not to hurt each other. And then Netflix have the biggest boxing event, maybe of all time, in terms of eyes on screens and stuff.
Yeah.
Madness. But I'm not mad at Mike Tyson, Russ, because for 20 million quid, you'd have started training for that fight.
Yeah.
And I think that's the message.
You get 55 million in Jake Paul or something. That's what it says online.
I think it's like 40.
40. Oh, is that net or?
Don't know. You might owe Mick 30%. You might owe Hennessy 30%.
Mick Hennessy, what's he going to do with that?
Who knows? Who knows? Mick's contracts appear everywhere, Porky.
Mick's got his hands in everywhere. That's why he's not putting shows on.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure Fury's still kicking him back some dough.
You what?
Yeah, I'm sure Tyson Fury still has to kick him back some dough.
Tyson's had to square him up, didn't he? After the High Court episode. Well, he didn't go into court, did he, Tyson? He settled out of court.
Yeah, so I think like a percentage of the Fury purses goes to Mick Hennessy.
1.5 million it was.
Oh, no. It's ongoing. I don't think it's over yet. I think Tyson still has to pay him.
Well, he lost in court anyway, and he's plenty of money, and I can assure you it's settled anyway. So it is settled. So, okie dokie. Otherwise, Mick would have just bounced into court and said, here you go, a read of that lot. And then we would have been looking at him a little bit differently, wouldn't we, before, you know what I mean, kind of thing, before we used to. We'd look at Tyson very differently if they'd have had that trial at High Court, Hennessy and Fury. He wouldn't have what he's got now, Fury. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So it were best that they paid him. So he is paid, I can assure you. So well done. He stood on, didn't he? But we know why he stood on, don't we? I mean, all that knackers about, well, I ain't got 7 million from my last fight. I've given it all to homeless in California. So you're not having, it's no good going to court. Well, that backfired. That must have been a moment of madness in his head where he put that out as if to say, well, so what, you've served papers on me, you're getting no, I've got no. But when it come down to nitty gritty, Hennessy had him by knackers, didn't he, really? Because he settled out of court, didn't he? Because if it was such a bad move, what Mick did to him, he'd have got in that dot, wouldn't he, with all his millions and white flowing Mick, wouldn't he? Hey? After all the hatred and what was spewed out of the mouths.
Hey?
Why didn't you get it docked then and say, nah, that's bullshit? Because Hennessy were there, wasn't he? It's all on his phone, wasn't it? You've known him since he were 20, 19, 20. And there you go. That's what I'm dealing with. All lot had come out, and you know what I'm on about? The lot.
100%.
So they, well, we'll settle. You know what I mean? You know when you settle, you know when somebody comes after you for millions and millions, like P. Diddy, like you get that bird 40 mil, didn't he? Why would you give somebody 40 million if you're innocent?
Well, no. So sometimes, Russ, it's strategic, right? So if I stand to lose more than 40 million just for the allegation, I'll pay it. Because sometimes you just don't want the hassle. Even if you've got nothing to hide, you don't want the hassle because people have to step away from you.
What's Baines of Mike Tyson?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so people step away from you, don't they?
Yeah.
So if you got sponsors and you've been accused of something, what your sponsors will say is, "Look, mate, we're going to step away while this all sorts itself out because it's not looking good for us." And so you can lose a lot of money. So sometimes you settle because it's just easier
Well,
for your
40
business.
million quid settling easier. It's a lot.
Well, for someone like Diddy,
Yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? What? Wait,
she asked for 5 million the first time, right? If he had paid her the 5 mil she asked for, we wouldn't know anything about this.
Yeah, maybe.
He'd have had the deal with Ciroc. He'd have had his Sean John, whatever it is. He'd had all of his businesses still going, and he'd have been all right for 5 million quid. And he called her bluff, and she was like, "No. Hey, I'm going to send you to hell."
You think he gets bail, Terry?
Ah,
I do.
when Trump comes in, yeah, he'll get bail.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? You've got to look at it like this. He's on bail. Sorry, he's not on bail. He's in jail. Social media's already hung him, aren't they? So how can he get a fair trial anyway? That's what his solicitors will say, won't they, when they go for bail? So how can you persecute when you're out of the trial? We've only got people's words for it, haven't we? Sworn enemies' words. So there's this version to come. I'm not saying he's innocent. We don't know, do we? But I'm a firm believer in stuff like, let's condemn somebody when they're done.
But it's simpler than that, Russ. Like as you well know, right? How can you have someone for racketeering? How can you have someone for sex trafficking? How can you have all of these things? And there are no co-conspirators. Like no one else has been charged. No one else has been pulled in for questioning that we know.
Yeah, he hadn't done it on his own. It's a bit like that Epstein thing, right? They've got all them names on that and them aeroplanes. And do you know what? Not one of them's had a fucking interview. It's craziness, isn't it? What happens, with these people like this, isn't it? It's a bit like Princess Diana writing a letter, isn't it, to newspapers saying, "Listen, my husband's planning something in my car. They're going to top me." They don't even pull them in, have they, Charlie, to say, "What about this? Your wife wrote us 3 years ago." Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same with that Epstein thing, isn't it? We're not hearing about everybody else. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's copped it, hasn't she? But nobody else has copped it. I mean, where's pilots who were in on it, flying them in? Where's all these butlers and people who ran that island? Where are they all not locked up? It's all just gone away. Bill Clinton, he were on that plane loads of times, wasn't he? 26 or something.
Yeah.
Who's them other people that were on it? Is it some comedians, black comedians, and other people? They were all pally, weren't they, with Epstein? So I don't know, mate. And I think this will go the same way. They're just riding it out. I mean, they could end up finding Diddy brown bread, couldn't they?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
The Gad. What's happening with him? He's been put in his place a few times. I've been told somebody just sent me a text. Simon Jordan sticking it to him today.
Yeah, but why isn't anyone sticking it to Simon Jordan? I'm tired of hearing Simon Jordan say anything. Simon Jordan's one of these people who sounds smart to dumb people. Like can't put his words together, doesn't make any sense. Just and all we have to listen to is, I know I had my own business. Mate, you went out with Katie Price. Anything you say, you're just discounted from having an opinion after that. Because it's not even like you got Katie Price when she was fresh. Do you know what I mean? Like you got her when that yellow label had been on there for a while.
He got Katie Price after Dwight York had been throwing her about, didn't he?
There you go.
Dwight York was coshing window wiper into her. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is, isn't it? But Simon Jordan's setting about everybody, isn't he, on TalkSport?
It's setting about no one, man. Why does he set about people that he should be setting about? He doesn't. He picks and chooses.
They're milking this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing.
Mike Tyson's the biggest name in the sport. That's why.
Anthony Joshua is right to duck Dubois, says Adam Superbean Smith. What do you think to that?
100%.
Peter Fury reckons he should have took that fight straight away. Rematch.
Why?
I don't know, because you can get it mixed. Can't you?
No, why? No, wait. Why would Peter say that?
I know he said it on IFL's 5 minutes 54, if you go look.
You know, I remember when he said real boxing people don't do podcasts, real boxing people don't do these videos. That's what he said. Now he's everywhere, and I've got nothing against it. I like Peter, but sometimes I think he says stuff for effect. Let's be honest. Daniel Dubois handled Anthony Joshua easily. It's not like it was 115, 113. Oh, let's go and see the rematch. He knocked Anthony Joshua out. Joshua tried to get up and face planted. Anthony Joshua's biggest nightmare was becoming a meme. That's why he avoided Wilder. He never wanted that moment. Because all that happens now, if Joshua pipes up online, you just get that little gif of him getting up and face planting. Yeah, that's going to be all over the internet now for the rest of his life. And that was his biggest fear. Yeah. What? He's going to go and fight Dubois and have that happen again?
Nah. I know, yeah. So if he don't fight Dubois and he's not gonna, who are they gonna put him in with? Because if you put him in
Wilder.
If they put him in with somebody that's finished, he could still get done himself, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Wilder could light him up, couldn't he?
Not with Malik Scott next to him, but if Wilder got rid of Malik Scott, yeah.
You think?
Yeah. He should just beg Mark Breland to come back.
You think?
Yeah. Because here's the thing, Russ. Breland was a tall, lanky guy as well. That was his whole boxing thing. So all the problems Wilder has, Breland had. Right? You literally have the expert in how to be a tall, skinny guy when you box right next to you. Why would you then come and get Malik, no heart, no guts Scott to come and help you train? For what? A man that got handled by Chisora, a man who threw himself on the floor against Deontay Wilder. No, not for me, mate.
What do you think to Duke McKenzie? Do you think he's a straight shooter?
Yeah.
I do.
His kid's super talented as
well.
Fights
correctly, hasn't he, last couple of years?
Yeah. Duke McKenzie, father of one of the brightest talents in English amateur boxing, yeah.
Well, he's saying that Fury's going to come out swingers and Usyk puts him away.
I think Usyk wins. I don't know if he stops Fury, but I think Usyk wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fury's just turning up for payday then, is he? Now he's lost his own.
But I think he only came back for the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He only came back for the money. He was trying to find the easiest fights he could to get to Undisputed. And he thought Wilder would be an easier fight than it was. It just turned out actually Wilder hung around enough that they had to do 3 fights, and that kind of just sapped his desire to box.
Yeah. You can't see Wilder coming back after his last few performances, can you tell?
Mate, while that Saudi money's flowing, I see everyone coming back.
Oh.
Mate, if I was a boxer, I would not be retiring until Turkey says he's done with boxing. Then I'm like, yep, so am I.
You mean that, yeah?
Yeah, if they're giving out 7-figure paydays, you may as well just hoover that up while you can.
The Gad. Has he lost his mind lately? Because he's been exposed, hasn't he, recently? With his opinions on certain fights. Do you think his fanboyness has put him in this position? Because people have proper cottoned onto him, haven't they, recently?
Well, Don Charles pulled him up, didn't he?
He tends to flock with the trending boxer of the moment and discard anybody else who's lesser, doesn't he?
Yeah, Don pulled him up and said, yo, you've always backed against me when my fighters are fighting. And he's like, yeah, okay. And so Don was like, yeah, man, I thought we were cool. I just think Gareth A. Davis is just the guy who, he's a character. Yeah. Like, he's a caricature. So whatever's in his head, he just says, knowing that he doesn't really mean it. So a lot of stuff he says publicly, I don't believe he means. And he just does it because he's Gareth A. Davis, and that's what people expect.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there, mate. I see where you're coming from. But this bias and kind of carry on. It's become too much, hasn't it? It's like they were going on about the other day about, I forgot what fight it was, about this cut and this and that, but I think Andy mentioned it last night to me. But point I want to make is that Fury had a cut and he should have been stopped against Wallin, shouldn't he? You know, I didn't see that same energy. Then I forgot what fight he was winning about, one that's just happened at weekend, a bad cut one. Saying, oh, it should have been stopped and all that. Well, Fury should have been stopped, shouldn't it, against Wallin? But you can't have it both ways with these people, can you? Because once they become fanboys with the certain subject, they're in the pocket then, aren't they? Because that subject, say Tyson Fury, he sees Gareth A. Davis in hotel lobbies, he sits down and come and plonks his arse there. How you doing? Are you all right? Because journalists knows they'll sit and have half an hour with you. Journalists will go away. Oh, he's me pal, he's me pal. Fighter will say, oh, we've got him sweetened up. And that's how it is, isn't it? You know that. I know that. You know what I mean?
Mate, you build your allies in the sport. As long as you've got allies, you know what I mean, you're all good. If you've got allies in the media will always be favourable.
Mm. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Adam Cattrall, Terry, are you buying into the Adam Cattrall thing, or do you think that massive amount of time after he got robbed against Taylor really done him in, and he never got it back? What do you think? You think he lost that momentum because that's his only defeat? He avenged it, but really he won that, didn't he?
What, Jack Cattrall?
Yeah, do you think he's a bit of an enigma, or do you think that he's missed his time?
I think he missed his time.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Like, I mean, remember, Josh Taylor was already undisputed. He already handled business, and Josh turned pro after Jack Cattrall, I think, and got to undisputed. Do you know what I mean? And I've never been convinced by Jack Cattrall. I probably never will be convinced. But it's classic matchroom matchmaking, isn't it? Like they either match you to look really good or they match you to look really bad. Never anything.
Trending story just gone out now, big on Talk Sport. Simon Jordan reacts furiously to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, with Jake putting out a statement saying the fight wasn't rigged. He's gone berserk, him, Jordan.
It probably wasn't rigged. It was scripted, maybe, but it wasn't rigged.
Do you think it were rigged now?
No, and I think it was scripted. I remember I said this earlier, Russ. I think they would have been in the gym together at some point and had to move around. And at that point, you're just working out where your ranges are. You're working out how not to hurt someone, all that sort of stuff. So there was definitely a message to not hurt Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's one of them things, isn't it? It's one of them things. But I just look at all these caricatures, that I give them all these nicknames, Terry, and I'm starting to wonder if half of them are like playing up to the nicknames. Some of them. The Gad, since we've given him this moniker, he seems to be took on a new life of his own. Oh, he's his own, doesn't it? I mean, I've got mates who've been at these shows and they go, "Hey, we've had a selfie with the Gad," and you were lapping it up. I don't know if I've shot myself in foot giving them all these names. You know what I mean? Making them relevant. What do you think?
No, not at all.
Honestly, do you agree? Do you agree? Do you think I'm right there, Terry?
Mate, when's the Porkster ever wrong about boxing?
I'm never wrong, kid.
And if you are, you just change the question.
I just changed the what?
And when you are, you just change the question. Just move the goalpost.
Like I said to you, didn't I? So listen, if Fury beats Usyk, yeah, he's beat a small man. You mean like that? Listen, I know I give some of them stick. And listen, I've had people on here, let me tell you, over years. We're on like 60, 70 different people. I've had a few come on here and try and turn it into their little show with their questions. And there's been a few that have asked me some corkers. And I thought, like, who did Jake LaMotta beat Porky in his fifth fight? And I'm like, oh, yeah, 2 seconds, seat toilet. You know what I mean? I'm like, what was that question again? And they'll have forgot then. Or, there's a few cocky ones that have been on here, but I'm usually all right.
My thing is, why are they coming on to do that?
I've had a few on here like, I just don't put it out, do I? And they get a bit scattered. So where's that video going out? So oh, it's backed up with a few others. Oh, is it because I asked you this? Or is it because I asked you that? No, it's because they're coming on to disrupt the status quo, aren't they? It's a bit like, I'm not going to say the names, but these people who set up accounts and a Porky's Corner accounts and go leave comments on people who I know in industry on the channels and other big channels and try to cause problems behind the scenes. But they're that thick, they don't understand that people can just click on the comment and see when the account is set up. You know what I mean? But that's what you're up against, isn't it? If you put yourself out there, and I'm a big boy, aren't I? I can take it on. So far, nobody's come and got stuck into me because I can fight like fuck for 11 stone fucking 2. Do you know what I mean? Or what 162? What's that? Oh, 11.8. For 11.8, I'm all right. I'm happy in myself, in my own skin. Nobody seems to come along and take me on. What are they going to do? Filming him for telling the truth? I had a couple of near misses, but I'm still here, aren't I? So, but for all this, we're going to do this and going to do that. 7 year down the line, aren't we? 7 year last week, wasn't it? November 17th.
Yeah.
7 year and 9 days. Still here. Still got my studio. Still churning away, pumping our little heart out on Porky's Corner. And we ain't even started, and I've had a little break. So we'll see, won't we? We'll see.
Yeah, what more do you need?
What more do I need exactly? You know what I mean? I know. Even though you're gonna lose people by the wayside, aren't you? You know, good people that know boxing. You Ricos, Julians.
That's life, though, man. No one. That's life because no one ever.
I mean, but maybe they're not as into boxing as me, or maybe they just think, you know what? Because they're like into their own time. It can be a waste of time, can't it? A waste of time. So I've had a lot on this last month or so. So boxing's took a second seat. But to be honest with you, about 2 months ago, September, I was looking at boxing. I'm thinking, where are we going here? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a mad fucking 28 days, and I'm going to stick 90 videos out in 28 days, and I did. And we'll see if it can make a difference. But it hasn't made a difference. Yeah, I've increased my subscriber rate and had a few quid out of that job. But boxing still ain't going to change. It's still run by the two same families as it has been for nearly 40. Well, he's been going since 80, other one 86, 87. Two families are still doing the business in the UK. Nobody's going to challenge that, are they? Everybody's tried. Your Dennis's, your Mick Ennis's, all of them, haven't they? They've all tried. MTK, the lot. They're still going strong, aren't they? Because they're steeped in it, aren't they, now? So, but I like to think that we make a difference on here. If we don't, I don't give a flying anyway. So I feel a lot better for getting it off my fucking chest. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think?
Right. I just think we're in a really interesting place, just in total, and we're kind of living through the aftermath of the pandemic now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, financially, economically, emotionally, politically, we're living through the aftermath of that, and you're seeing that in boxing as well, where there's this kind of lag, and people are like, oh, "What's it all really about?" And what we need is we need a boxer to come through that just gets us excited again. Someone who's just a horrible guy that can knock people out and around. That's what we want.
Yeah, it is. You want to go on to part 3, Terry, please?
Mate, but we have to make this one quicker though, yeah?
Yeah, we'll do a 20-minute one. We'll fly straight through them, yeah?
Mate.
I'll see you in a minute, 2 seconds.
All right, bye.